So it all starts with this diagram here, the ownership pyramid. You can download it. It's linked in the description. This is an excerpt from Pro Church Certified, our certificate program for creative ministry. And this is a document that we use internally to outline the different levels of ownership or agency that each person has. And that word agency is so important to me because I think agency is one of the greatest gifts that you can give to someone. And I want you to file that away for a moment. Agency being one of the greatest gifts that you can give to someone. Why? Well, a person with high levels of agency feels in control. They're not a victim of their circumstances. They are a conqueror. And what is downstream from this? A healthy volunteer culture in your church. Now, to be clear, not everyone will be able to demonstrate high levels of agency or ownership right away, and you shouldn't expect that. My belief, though, is that this can be developed. And if you think about those that are serving on your team, what are they giving to you in the church? Their time, their talent, their treasure? How can you reciprocate? By being an emotionally healthy leader, yourself, of course, developing their skills, sure, but also helping to increase their level of agency, because that is a quality that will positively affect every area of a person's life. And in my experience, this is the missing piece in church volunteer culture. It's why fewer people are volunteering. It's why most churches have a fraction of the people doing the lion's share of the work, because it's a one-way proposition. Churches ask for your time, talent, and treasure. They tend to over-ask, in fact. And what does the volunteer get in return? Usually nothing. Now, I'm not suggesting you pay your volunteers, though that is becoming more common in churches. Instead, if you can develop the attribute of agency in your volunteers, not only will your church benefit from a stronger supporting cast, each individual volunteer will benefit as well, because agency is, again, one of the most rewarding character traits that you can possess, and your church can be the catalyst for fostering this. And that's what the ownership pyramid is all about. At the base, it starts with emotional steadiness. Here that's defined as consistently responds to people and situations from a grounded, self-aware center. Your presence promotes trust, stability, and Christ-like care. One of the axioms that I hold in high esteem with team building in church is develop over discover. In church, the default recruitment lens often tends to be, we want to discover talents. Who in our church is the right candidate for the role? For me, I've had better success when I've had to do some developing of skills, but the person already demonstrated emotional steadiness. And here, you can see our baseline. It's not emotional maturity, not expert level emotional intelligence, just emotional steadiness. Basically, the lack of emotional volatility is the standard. Recall, this is the ownership pyramid. So, when we're onboarding a new team member, this is the first thing that I suggest you give them ownership over, your own emotional state. From there, the next level is task, and here is its definition. Reliably completes tasks, trusted to follow SOPs, standard operating procedures. You can troubleshoot minor issues. Okay, what's an SOP? You're looking at one right now. Basically, it is a step-by-step distillation of a task. It usually contains two components. A video walkthrough, so you can watch and see how the task is completed with every step shown. There's also a written guide that, again, outlines each and every step. And together, so long as you, the creator of the SOP, outline every single step, it's a critical tool that makes delegating tasks so much easier, because you can take this SOP, provide it to any member of the team, reuse it with multiple people as needed, and it does the training for you. And when a person forgets a step or needs reminding on something, they're not coming to you anymore. They're simply consulting the SOP. This is how you delegate. The SOP also becomes the measuring stick for if a task was completed reliably. And this gets back to the ownership pyramid. Are you reliably completing a task, documented in the SOP, with the ability to troubleshoot minor issues? That's what the second level in the ownership pyramid is all about. Now, what would a minor issue look like? Well, to use our sermon reel SOP as an example, in phase 2, add the fixings. The third step is check reframing and adjust any wonky clips. And this refers to when we have a pastor preaching in a video on a horizontal 16:9 canvas. We then use the auto reframing tool in our video editor to crop into a vertical canvas, preparing the video to be shared on social. Most of the time, this works first try. Sometimes the tool gets it wrong, and the pastor drifts out of frame. That's a minor issue that the person in charge of this task would need to troubleshoot, manually adjusting the framing for that small part of the video and continue. And by the way, I would have mentioned this in the SOP. Hey, sometimes this reframing doesn't work first try. If you have an issue, here's how to fix it. Now, why else might I have included the line, can troubleshoot minor level issues, in the task level description? Because that is a critical component of agency, problem solving. Now, not everyone's going to be trusted to problem solve when the stakes are high, but we do want to start developing that skill bit by bit. And that's what we're starting to do here in the task level. Even if it is on the smallest scale, it's an important muscle to begin flexing. Now, here's the thing. What happens too often in ministry is that people join a team, but they're not given any ownership in their role. What I mean by that is they're really just along for the ride. And I think this is a mistake. I want to safely put people in the driver's seat right away. That's what the task level on the ownership pyramid is all about. It gives people agency immediately. And even if it's a small task, they become responsible for it. This almost always is accompanied by a sense of pride in the healthiest sense. They know they're contributing. They know they're being counted on. Pair this with ownership over their emotional steadiness, and you have a valuable contributor to any team. And if this is where a person stays, great. Most people in church, especially those that volunteer, will never ascend beyond this level of the ownership pyramid. That's healthy, it's normal. For those that do show the aptitude and desire for more, the next level is project, where here a person reliably manages and completes projects. They're trusted to champion SOPs, and they can troubleshoot moderate level issues. So we're moving up from tackling minor issues to moderate. We're continuing to develop the skill of problem solving. And here, a person is not just completing standalone tasks, but a series of tasks. Maybe they're doing each of those tasks on their own, figuring out how to sequence them appropriately based on deadlines, or maybe they delegate a couple of those tasks to others on the team. And now they become the champion of the SOP, meaning they're ensuring that the steps are followed by others, which is a way of giving this person a test drive for the final level on the ownership pyramid, which is team, where you are now reliably managing people trusted to write SOPs, and you can troubleshoot most issues. By the way, this is where you are on the pyramid if you are a leader. Might you be joined by someone else? Perhaps. And let me tell you, it is so rewarding to see a person join your team and go through each of these steps over time to the point where they are now managing entire groups of people themselves. And it's for that reason that I recommend you share this document with everyone on the team. Give them a concrete understanding of what they have ownership over and the trajectory that they are on for more if they want it. Like I said, most volunteers in church are going to be content hanging out on the task level, which again is great. Those people are outstanding contributors. But by sharing this document and letting everyone see it, you are also clearly outlining the path for those that want to contribute on a greater level. And giving people clear expectations is always beneficial. This diagram is also to be used as your delegation tool, because as soon as you move from being a one-man band or a one-woman band and you add a person to help you, you are now at the top of the pyramid, at the team level, which means it's time to start writing your first SOP and delegating your first task. To revisit the sermon reel SOP, again, this is just a simple Google Doc. It outlines each step. The tasks are broken up into phases to make it easier to scan. And we tend to use the tool Loom for our video recordings because most of our tasks are completed on a computer. But you can just record with your phone as well. Let's say you're creating an SOP for shutting down the sound booth on Sunday. Grab your phone. Don't really care about production quality here so long as you can clearly be heard and you can see what you need to see. I really do want to encourage you to write an SOP and delegate your first task. If you've never done it, it's hard to explain how transformative of a feeling you'll get from this to see something that has always been your responsibility now become someone else's. And suddenly, now it's no longer on your plate. You've got a bit of free space, a bit of free time. What a revelation. If you've enjoyed this video, you should know that it's a partial excerpt from Pro Church Certified, our certificate program for creative ministry, specifically from Module 9, Building Your Team. Here are a few students with their certificates after completing the program. Certified has 9 modules in total, one for each core discipline of creative ministry, and each module has 4 components: teaching, workshop, downloads, and exercise. You're seeing the photography module at a glance here with all of its components. You can head to prochurchcertified.com to see the entire program at a glance, explore pricing and FAQs. And thanks as always for your time, attention, and trust. Talk to you soon.